Welcome to Dungeon Master Talk, the podcast for Dungeon Masters by Dungeon Masters. I am Dungeon Master Kyle, and with me today, as always, is...
Dungeon Master Shay. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Shay?
Doing fantastic, man. We're talking D&D. Our football team got a win this weekend.
Woo, woo.
We're so excited.
So, listeners, before we get into the neat and gritty, as we know, we are a very serious podcast. We never get sidetracked or anything like that. So we are just going to stick to the script that we totes have.
We have a script?
Absolutely. Did you not read it?
No, I did not.
I'm so disappointed. Before we get into this, listeners, thank you so much for listening and for downloading this podcast. I cannot begin to explain how much it means to us that you guys listen to us every single week. If you are listening to this and you've not done so, and we've brought you even an ounce of entertainment, if you would, please do the podcast thing on your favorite podcast platform where you do the stuff. It helps us out with the algorithms. You guys know it by now, and so we'll get going. But if you want to reach out to us, we love the comments. They are super meaningful, and they help with engagement. That means a lot, so definitely leave a comment on the episode via, like, Apple Podcasts lets you do that and stuff. But then also we have dungeonmastertalk@gmail.com. You can shoot us an email. Also, we are on X, aka Twitter, DMT the podcast, and we have the Dungeon Master Talk Facebook page as well. Please hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. Listeners, this one's going to be, once again, a tad bit different. We're calling this kind of like a mid-season finale. I don't know if we're actually midway through the campaign or not. It depends entirely on if Shay and I can have an attention span longer than that of a goldfish. The Magic 8 Ball says that is unlikely.
That's accurate.
We do try, listeners. We really do. But we are thinking, calling this a mid-season finale because we kind of want to shake up our format a little bit, listeners. And this is to allow us to bring you guys a little bit more high-quality prepped episodes. We want to expand our episode length a little bit to an hour. That way, or roundabouts an hour. We're not going to like hard stop at an hour or stretch air time to get to an hour for you guys, but we do want to try to lengthen that time up with content for you guys that's more meaningful. We also are going to drop the frequency a teeny bit. We're going to go from being the bi-weekly that we are to a once a month podcast. That way, listeners, we have that extra week or two in between episode drops for us that we can try to work on the content that we're delivering to you guys, being a little bit more prepped for this campaign build that we're doing so that it'll help us stay on task a little bit, maybe move a little bit quicker. And then also give Shay here a little bit of sanity, as he is our editor, has to cut out all my ums and all of my other background noises as I move a lot. So you got my chair squeaking. I have to play with my hands the entire time, so sometimes you hear me like roll dice or shuffle cards or drop things off my desk, and he cuts all that out, or most of that out, so that you guys have a better listening experience. And so we just want to protect his sanity a bit, listeners. So it is our goal to always deliver to you guys the best that we're capable of delivering, and we think that this new schedule will help us get there, along with also getting to spend some time with our incredible wives.
Well, and also, if I might jump in, Kyle,
absolutely.
We've got the holidays coming up. I mean, schedules are always crazy. Work is crazy, especially with everybody getting towards that holiday season.
Yep.
So this will just allow us just to, like Kyle said, bring you the best quality podcast that we can with the resources that we have, and just really, hopefully, create that space for you to help enjoy this podcast with us. We want you to be able to enjoy it even more than we can, if that's even possible.
Yep.
So, we just want to be able to be at our best for you, and we think that that's how we're going to be able to give you guys our best by this new schedule. So, but also with that new formatting, we will work on the campaign still, but we're going to be a little bit more organized going forward, and we're going to do kind of a split as well. So we're going to do half advice, like we kind of mentioned here in a couple previous episodes, and then also do the campaign work at the same time, while also bringing you our monthly updates, because that's how often we play, and then that way we're always making sure that you guys are up to date with our teams as well.
Listeners, to let you know what this schedule is going to look like, here, this episode, the one you're listening to, it is now the 22nd of September of 2023.
Gong!
So our next episode will follow our standard schedule. It'll be the 6th of October, but that's going to be the start of our month. So we're going to be releasing that first Friday every month. So this one will drop as normal. The next one will drop as normal, but we're going to try to have that be our first one. That's a little bit longer. If it's not, we promise the next one will. And then that next one will be November's episode.
Correct.
So just to give you guys a heads up, we'll also try the best that, as we do again with our goldfish memory spans, to remember to put out on the social medias that we're doing this. So in case you don't listen to this after the fact, hopefully you saw it there. Now, Shay, take it away, sir.
All right. So quick recap. We are in the world of Exarban. We are in a post-apocalyptic campaign. We find our people currently in the realm of Havencroft, where we were talking about this nomadic tribe that are potentially helping our characters, our PCs in the story, if they're following the guidelines.
Yep.
To get to level 2, level 3, somewhere in there, where they can get their archetype going and potentially pursue Mamaw and continue that storyline from there as well. We started in Silverforge, which was about 47 miles away. And for context, you can go back to the other previous episodes to see where we got to this point from here. So,
Yep.
Kyle, last time we talked about how the group would basically engage with this nomadic tribe of the Okte tribe.
Yep.
And either gain their favor or probably get run out of the village, whichever came first, depending on your players.
Yep.
And from there, we need to figure out where is Mamaw and where do they need to go.
What we had said last time is depending on how they did on their roleplay with the tribe, it can also come down to a dice roll. That's what it'd say in the little, if you're going through this following a pre-built, this would be the part in the page where it's like, if they succeed let's say like DC 10 charisma check, they earn favor, and then they would get a clue from the town as to which direction Mamaw went. Otherwise, if they failed at that, we would have to sprinkle clues around that they would be able to follow. As we said last time, it would probably take like a day of hanging out with the tribe to earn that trust. That's also opportunities for that roleplay XP. So now I think what would be cool is if we lay out what those clues are. So let's start with the easy one, easy path that you hope the players succeed at, or sometimes if you're DMing, you hope they don't so that they have to roleplay more. What is the clue that the town folks would give them if they succeed that check, Shay?
Well, I think first of all, we need to figure out on the backside, where is Mamaw going?
See.
Let's do a dice roll because we should do that.
Yeah.
And we should figure out if Mamaw goes north, east, south, or west.
I think we did. I have deja vu. Did we do this last time?
We figured out that's how she got to Havencroft.
Yep.
Or went past Havencroft, but we haven't figured out past that. So
gotcha. That's why I got my deja vu. I was like, I don't have in my notes that we figured this out, but it feels familiar.
All right. I will pull out my dice here real quick since I have it.
Thank you.
Because who doesn't like rolling dice?
I mean, personally, since I'm so bad at it, like, I don't know what it is, listeners. I really don't.
So let's use the same parameters. 1 to 25 is north. 26 to 50 is east.
What dice are you rolling?
Percentile.
Okay.
And then 51 to 75 is going to be south. And then anything above 76 is going to be to the west. And the dice say 7, so she goes north.
Okay, so Havencroft was
47 miles west of Silverforge.
Which
so then
that took it into the desert, didn't it?
No, that took it into the farmlands.
Farmlands, that's right.
Desert is south. You're more northern. It's kind of your Arctic / mountainy, maybe a dense forest, but not like a tropical type thing.
Yeah. Ooh, that gives me an idea. I like that.
Okay,
I like that north is more into that stuff. So, what I'm thinking, where really to me what makes sense for Mamaw is if she's orchestrated this, they're taking her to a place that has something she wants. Mm-hmm. This whole thing is to get her attention and get favor, so when she returns, she has no rivals for her power, and her next 3 edicts are gonna get passed.
Okay.
The thing that I think she wants to be taken to, is perhaps a old abandoned tomb from maybe before the fall. And so that's where they're taking her to. And perhaps the reason she wants to be taken there is a powerful artifact.
Ancient tome.
Yeah, this would be a chance for us to introduce something a little bit more powerful than what the players are maybe necessarily on level for.
Okay.
And can be a payoff later in the campaign. Or we can go like Ark of the Covenant, MacGuffin style with this, and it seemed like a big deal. And it, of course, not be ultimately in the end. But I think it's more fun if this is actually is a big payoff magical weapon or magical spell that, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have one in mind yet. That's something that we would need to look at and research.
Hey, I got an idea. While I'm elaborating on this, pull out your DMG and go to the random tables, like the artifacts page.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So I like the idea of kind of like Scooby-Dooing, like a cross of Scooby-Doo going into Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think that would be hilarious. But I have to say that again so that Kyle can hear it. Ha.
What are you saying?
So I like the idea of like the group kind of like Scooby-Doo meets Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Where like the group just kind of like stumbles on this. So I think that there should be and it could be like an ancient burial grounds that the Oktay tribe is familiar with, or it could be of a not a rival clan, but like a an alliance, like an alliance group.
Another nomadic tribe that maybe they have like a treaty or an understanding with. Yeah, they're not, maybe they're not allies, but they're not enemies type deal.
Yeah, like a trade partner or something.
Yeah.
And like they had heard reports that something had been rustling around in that area. For what, they weren't sure, but it was kind of freaky and they really didn't want to get involved. But hey, you guys look adventurous. Why don't you go figure it out and go from there?
The thing is, for them to find it, they're probably asking about Mayma or about the ruffians that took her.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, maybe they even know that, like, this group of bandits that didn't try to stop there, like, plowed through, and this tribe maybe has scouted on them as, like, we can't take them. We don't like that they're there, but we can't do anything about it type deal. But, like, you guys look tough.
Mm-hmm. Hey, why don't you try it?
That level of thing, because, you know, the classic video game-esque or adventure tale, it's like, we're not capable of taking care of it, but maybe you can, type thing. And this is why I'm not a voice actor, listeners, because, like, that...
Have fun storming the castle, kids!
Yeah, like, that was a strong attempt for me. What did you want me... You wanted me to go to what in the DMG?
We want to figure out what the item is that Mayma is looking for.
Yes, you want me to go to random treasure or magic items? What do you want me to go to?
Let's go magic items.
Okay,
why not?
Page 135 in my DMG. Paperback.
A side note, I'm kind of hoping that it's a scroll. I'm hoping it's a scroll of some sort, but
I love scrolls personally. They make me excited because it's just like a scroll is so powerful in this game, but it's also not broken. It's not like, typically it's not like, hey, this item that can spam. I have to go learn it. There's a chance to fail it. You can get wild stuff going. All right. So magic item table.
Here, I'll tell you what. I will roll. You pick a random table. I won't even look at it. You pick a random table, and I will roll it.
Okay. How about, like, I'm looking at how many magic item tables there are, because a lot of these tables are like have gems and stuff on them. We don't want them to have gems. Okay, I'm actually getting to the magic item table. Sorry, 135 is not the first page that has the magic item tables.
Okay.
All right, I picked my one.
Okay. I rolled a 56.
Alright, so this says the Trident of Fish Command.
Ooh.
I picked magic item table F.
Okay. Alright. So, now we know what 56 on the magic table F is.
Yeah, that is 56 or 57 is the Trident of Fish Command. So let's look at this and see if that fits at all for this.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Why don't we try and change it to a Trident of Stone Cunning?
Ooh, what would that be?
Does it give you it probably doesn't give you a description of that, does it?
No, not immediately on here. I'm sure I can find one in here. I was just going to Google real quick the Trident of Fish Command. I'm assuming it gives you the, like, Aquaman powers.
Okay. How about this? How about it gives you once per day to cast something. So
the Trident of Fish Command is a magic weapon. It has 3 charges. While you carry it, you can use an action to expend 1 charge to cast Dominant Beast on a save DC 15 from it on a beast that has an innate swimming speed. The trident regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. So yeah, you get Aquaman power a little bit, except for it's like true command, not like the fish are my friends. I can talk to them, but like, I mean, that's a really cool item. I just don't think it's one that our big bad wants to go to. So what were you saying turn it into?
Maybe like Trident of Stone Cunning? Or what if we do like a pickaxe of Stone Cunning?
That could work. Or do you want to just roll again?
I can do that.
Yeah, let's roll one more time. Listeners, that's a really cool item. I just don't think it's one that our big bad would be looking for.
Oh, I got it. Okay, I got it. If we do a pickaxe, the pickaxe once per day, basically the same thing. It can do stone shape.
Oh, there you go.
Where you get touch an object of medium size or smaller section of stone no more than 5 feet in any dimension, and form it into any shape that suits your purpose. So, for example, you could shape a large rock into a weapon, an idol, a coffer, or make some small passage through a wall, as long as the wall is less than 5 feet thick. You can also use stone shape to make a door or the frame to seal the door shut. An object you create can have up to 2 hinges and a latch, but finer mechanical details aren't possible. So maybe we do like 3 charges of stone shape?
Yeah, I think that's like a pickaxe of stone shape. So obviously she'd want this. It'd be very viable in a town that's largely based off of its mining prowess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then also, one thing I'm wondering immediately when I think about this, because my mind of trying to break stuff has increased dramatically since becoming a DM, is like, hey, this says a stone object. So that doesn't mean rock. Like gemstones.
It doesn't have to mean stone.
Yeah, it could, like, a ruby is a type of stone. An emerald is a type of stone. A diamond is a stone. It's like, depending on what raw goods she has available, she can make some seriously impressive armor. She also can use this to, like, hey, we're mining all this stuff. I turn it into something viable with one touch. And we math profit. Also, our enemies, you make a stronghold, I get right through it.
She can make like a temporary like stone shield, like a stone like cover base.
Yep. I just think like for her use, it also just like it dramatically increases like her kind of mystique amongst the people, because they're like she now has this insane ability that to a commoner is like, whoa.
Yeah, seriously.
How on earth did you do that? That's incredible.
Inconceivable.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's amazing. So, yeah, I think that's a worthy one for it, because it's not like killer broken. It'll be fun. What players can do with an item like this, if it were to fall into a player's hand, is...
You can do a lot with that.
Like, just incredibly amusing. It does have class restrictions, it looks like, looking at... Well, Stone Shape itself does, but I guess having an item that has it is fine. Never mind.
Yeah, it's built into the item.
Yeah, I think that's a fun one. So listeners, obviously we're changing the Trident of Fish command here. Honestly, just for our campaign, it didn't make sense that our big bad mastermind is looking for this, so we just want to change that up. We will try to honor the dice rolls better in the future.
We will honor them as long as they make sense.
Yes. So that's what she's after. It's benefit of where they're taking her. I like the idea of it being a burial ground. That's really cool. Maybe it's...
Okay.
Because, I don't know, like, you're not going to go from, like, farmland to, like, true mountain to, like, be in a cave.
Mm-hmm.
But if it goes into this wooded area, it can be, like, a kind of, like, a clearing that's got some rebel that's from, like, a sacred tomb, or maybe, like, the remnants of a society there that is where this is kept. Maybe
the entrance to where she needs to go is through, like, an ancient mausoleum type thing.
Ooh, that's cool.
So, like, it could be... Think like Romeo and Juliet, just like an actual like mausoleum that they like walk into, and there's like this whole family of this associated tribe with the Octay tribe, and this is sacred ground for them.
Yep.
But at the same time, like...
And I think kind of like how the Octay tribe is there right now, they're occupying the area. I think like right now the other tribe's not there, and that's why the Octay tribe is paying attention to this. They're like, hey, this isn't their place to be. It's not the time of year that anyone should be there. And that's why it's abnormal and why we have great concern, because we're like, these are prior raiders. They're not the people who typically go there for their sacred ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if they do significant damage, that's going to be bad. because this other tribe that come back is a tribe that we can interact with at higher level. Maybe they're a bigger tribe. Maybe they're a more warrior-centric tribe that is like, hey, if this place is desecrated and they come back, they're going to go on like a war path to avenge their sacred land or their sacred temple or whatever it is. Because like it's very viable. It's like, hey, they come here once a year for a ceremony or for blessed like a spirit or get blessed by a spirit that they believe is there or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That also gives us kind of a story hook for later too to pull on.
Depending on how they do with it.
So then I think like, not to fast forward a little bit, but my brain just works this way. So obviously we need to come back and say like, how do they find the clues to go there if they don't get the tribe's blessing or respect or, win the role. But I think here, when they get here, it's obviously probably a little bit of a journey again, but I think it's more of a day trip than it was to get here, because this is the point where like we're trying to get a payoff to our journey for the players, because as a player character, you need to pay off every little bit to a little arc.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like payoff number 1. And so hopefully now they're level 3. If not, they should be right on the cusp.
Agreed.
They're skipping a lot of stuff if they're not 3, probably at this point.
Right.
And so I think this battle that we want to do here, we want something fun about it, because obviously there's the bandits, right, that have taken Mei Ma that she doesn't care about. Honestly, she probably wants them dead, because she doesn't want people to get out that she's orchestrated all this. She probably wants your group to go odd on these bandits, but then to have more fun, and I think it needs to be more than bandits here in this next encounter.
What if one of the bandits, so to speak, is a necromancer?
That could be a lot of fun.
And then, so like, as this person becomes like the trailing group, if we're going to be in a graveyard, you're going to have an army to raise. They're not a lich, but I mean, they're going to be able to do some of that.
Yeah, maybe they can raise zombies to fight.
Exactly.
Obviously,
or skeletons or both.
Yeah, a mixture. That way you can just have a bigger, more challenging combat that's rewarding for this. And then I think the key is maybe what would be interesting here, and disagree with me if you feel like you want to.
Okay.
Maybe when they arrive, the party gets there, Mei Ma has the pickaxe. It's not like we still have to go get the pickaxe, because she's trying to play off like, I didn't want to be kidnapped. So maybe the pickaxe is with stuff. Combat happens. Hopefully the party wins. And otherwise the campaign ended here. And
too soon.
Yep. The party wins. The bandits are wiped out. Skeletons and zombies are taken care of. She then goes and gets this and maybe claims like, I want to be able to defend myself on the way back. I'm not going to be just dead weight. And then we can like fast travel back, unless the party wants to have some interaction again with the Oktai tribe. And so then we fast travel back to the town, and then that's where she unveils the power. And that's also then we can grant story arc XP as well, with wrapping up that kind of retrieval of Mei Ma arc, but also avoid just retraveling this basically the same path back.
Okay, so
unless you feel otherwise.
No, I'm okay with that. The only thing is we need to figure out who the fall guy is.
Yep. Because
if she's not actually wanting to be kidnapped, there needs to be a fall guy to be who is the person kidnapping her.
Yep. So that's a very good point. It's hard to think as the evil maniacal character sometimes when you're not evil and maniacal, because it's like, who would she be framing here that would be beneficial for her?
We're going to see who her right-hand man is, or woman.
Well, we know that her family's really tight with her and all this, and she probably wouldn't want to bury one of her family in this.
No. Like, one of the people in this organization, it has to be in High Elf, remember, because that's one of the ideals of this group.
Yep.
And I would say that they are on the broken level, not the shattered level.
Right.
Just not the fractured level, but the broken level. So like they're kind of like one step up.
Yep.
And let's see, 50%, over 50, it's a female, under 50, it's a male. It's a male because I rolled a 5. So
you're not rolling high tonight on those.
I am not, but that's all right. That's just what the dice say.
A male high elf, and maybe like I think it's interesting if maybe this isn't just somebody that is a so and so Joe.
Okay.
Maybe it's somebody that And again, this is me spitballing. Maybe I'm overcomplicating it, but maybe it's somebody that would be known in the town. And so it's a little bit like, why the heck, like, maybe not why the heck, but like, oh man, it was you type moment. And she uses it to solidify, like, is it?
Yep.
Could it be someone who's like, yeah, it makes sense because it would be a potential political rival, like ahead of another house within the budding community, or maybe like this person, she's arranged it to look like maybe they were a little unhinged, so it makes sense that they just wanted to see the world burn type deal.
I think it should be somebody that has a roguey type quality, like a roguish type quality, because then if we want to, we can have this person somehow escape and help Mama, quote unquote, again in the future as like, here's your fall guy. Hey, look, I got captured. I came back again, but I also need somebody to help me forward, execute plan B, plan C, like take out, phase 2 of the mission. So,
well, and maybe it's not that he escapes because the party would probably take chase after, and it's hard to pull off a nice escape unless you do Sex Machina, they escape a little bit.
Or if they get captured.
Yeah, maybe they attempt to surrender, and if the party's like, no, we're not going to do it, Mei Ma's like, save her.
He surrenders.
Yeah.
But already has plans to know how to get out of that jail because he's been in town for long enough to know better where the weaknesses of the political system that is currently in place in. And
then also he knows that he's an ally of Mei Ma, but nobody else does. So then,
exactly,
like Mei Ma, like that's what I'm thinking. Like even like if they try to surrender, because sometimes your party will be like, "No, we're not. You're too powerful. You're gonna escape. We can't keep you on the way back. We're gonna take you out." And so if they make that decision, they go for it, Mei Ma might intervene and be like,
maybe,
no, this is not our way. You're not killing him. We're taking him back as prisoner, bind his hand, and
or put power to the players. If you have a goody-goody paladin or a goody-goody cleric in there, they have a moral choice to, do they let the barbarian go nuts? Or do they uphold the law of their deity and say, no, we don't just take a life to take a life?
Right.
Assuming you have that type of paladin. It could be a player character moment too. Maybe this person is somebody that the party already knows.
Yeah, I think this is somebody that we would have to retrofit at this point into the beginning of the story, so they're not introduced here.
Okay.
Because this is probably like session 5-6 or more, depending on your length of your sessions. So I think at this point, introducing somebody that, was there at the beginning is kind of a cheat. So this is somebody we'll need to write back in at the start, and we can flag that in our notes that we need to.
Yep.
And so we're going to reintroduce them. There's this whole moment that somehow we want them to live. I think like we don't want to, I guess we need to decide right here. Is this a moment that if they live, we're going to use them?
It was the blacksmith.
Ooh. But why? And so like, here's the thing. You got to be able to have the, but why? So
okay.
Maybe the whole deal is like, and they took her here, they're going to sacrifice her, bury her here where nobody's going to find her, come back and take over the town. Because maybe the blacksmith's like the next oldest. Also, obviously, as the blacksmith has a lot of loyalty, brings in a lot of money for the area, feels like they could assert their will over the younger members of Mei Ma's family.
Maybe had the plans to the prison because he built it himself.
Yeah, and that's how he escapes later.
Exactly.
And this does hinder the town's growth because, like, now instead of having this excellent blacksmith, maybe you're stuck with the blacksmith's apprentice who's like, okay.
Or what if the blacksmith's family felt cheated that Mama got the election versus whoever in their family?
They feel like it wasn't a fair count. They don't feel like the right people should have been, that the right people got to vote because like, hey, if you wait a different time of year, then there's a lot more people here who would be loyal to us because they're here for our goods.
Yeah.
But instead you vote at a time of year where the nomadic people aren't around that would like to see us in power.
All right. Name that character.
Oh man, if you make it, you gotta name it our own rule, and I'm so bad. There's not. I'm running out of things in my office that I can say backwards, and it's
Oh gosh.
So obviously it's a high elf because we've said that like everyone in that hierarchy, that basically religion of May-Maz is a high elf. So let's head out to. I have a book. I have not been using this book on this.
Balden.
Ooh, okay, never mind. I won't get that book because then you're just going to drop a really cool name, and I don't need my book anymore. I like Balden. Because then, like, the joke's right there, too. Like, Balden. 'Cause sometimes it's nice to, like, if you can think of a name and you can and it's a villain's name in your campaign and you can already riff on it. And you're just like, yeah, my players are going to riff on this. This is good.
And we'll say he's got a really bad receding widow's peak because he's not bald yet, but he's really close. Yeah. And for elves, like, you really have those, like, those really long locks. Yeah. He's just apropos.
Well, and he's on his way to the Hulk Hogan haircut when like when he had the bandana. I'm sorry, people. I'm a '90s boy, so I knew this Hogan better than the Hogan who had hair. Also, sorry, Hogan, if you listen to this. I doubt it though.
So full name is Balden Elmflow.
I can get behind. Well, okay, but he's a blacksmith. So should the last name be something that makes a little bit more Balden Silver Striker? No, that's too cliche. Balden Hammer Weaver?
That's more of a dwarven name.
No, it had the word hammer in it even. I knew it as soon as I said it that I named a dwarf.
Balden Moonriver.
I like that. I really do.
Or Firebrook.
Ooh, that's better.
Balden Firebrook.
I like it.
Okay.
Set in stone.
Balden Firebrook. Named that character. He is a... Let's see. Do you want to roll some percentiles?
You go for it because I do not. I've committed the treason. My dice are not within arm's reach.
Okay, so we're just going to do a quick roll. 50-50 split. Let's see how strong he is. Pretty strong. That's 98. So he's stocky as all get out.
So that means probably by himself invokes like a medium challenge rating against the party. And then when with his minions, though, we're looking at this being like a medium to hard challenge rating.
Big, burly, like think, have you seen Luca?
Yes, I have. It took me a minute.
Think the dad from Luca, like the girl's dad, like just that big, stocky fisherman, like.
Yeah. Yep. The years that the Forge have toned his muscles, he is large, like he's more built than what you typically think of for a high elf because of working the Forge for
super dark complexion. Yes.
It looks like the amount of time that he spent at the Forge over time has permanently painted his skin a little bit, like an ashy color, which fits him being a necromancer. Like when he unveils the fact that he has necromancy, it's going to be like, it fits his aesthetic to a T. And maybe he has like flowing white hair. Balden has white hair.
Well, it's going to be more blonde, like mullet-y, but with that really receded widow's peak.
Bald in the front, party in the back.
Oh, absolutely. Because like it's not typical for them to cut their hair, but when you don't have much on top, you got to hold on to what you have.
Yeah. We will have to figure out a way to art that. Neither of us are artists, so that'll be fun.
Listeners, if you're listening to this,
yeah, please take a stab at it. We would love to see it. Hit us up with that at Facebook or on Twitter or at dungeonmastertalk@gmail.com.
All right, so what should we call the cemetery?
Yes,
that we're going.
It's got to be something that really feels. The name kind of fits that ceremonial. Well, first, like, what's the tribe that frequents this area? Because then maybe from that. It can help us figure out this name.
Good call. Let's see.
What about the Iga tribe?
Iga tribe? Okay, I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't love it, but let's pencil that in for now, and then we can decide later if we want to live with that for a lifetime. So the Iga tribe. And I think, like, should this be like a minor gods monument? Or should this be a former ruler's tomb or something? Like, why is this item there?
Well, let's say former
Yeah,
chief.
why is it? Because like also like why is this pickaxe, this magic item there?
Maybe because there was a feud between the Oktay and the Iga tribe that whoever wielded this weapon can possess too much power. Or stories say it's a legend. It's more of a myth to them because they've never seen it, because this was like pre-event and it's been gone for so many years. Like nobody knew about it, but the fact that you could wield the world, to them, they viewed that you could wield the world at your with a swipe of a pickaxe, and you could build infrastructures. You could build, like, they would use it for good things, like for infrastructure, for
so maybe this is the tomb of like somebody who had like a big title, like Amtan, the builder, or like some, like that's a terrible, that was like my B+ effort, listeners. I'm sorry, I tried to deliver better than that, but I failed
together, man.
But like something like that, like this is our chance to introduce like a little bit of like myth to the before times that like probably will never get expanded upon, other than this is their magic item that they used to do the things. So now we got to name another thing thing. So we're gonna have this person who was some form of ruler. We don't have to really determine what at this, because there obviously was empires and stuff before, kingdoms. It could be like a lord or a king or an emperor or something like that from the before. And maybe it was like a dwarf before, like a hill dwarf.
That would make sense if it is a pickaxe. That would make sense. And
normally, if it wasn't for the fact that this fits Mayma's very intricate plan, she wouldn't have anything. She wouldn't care at all about this old dwarf legend. But she was like, we know from our history books that this isn't all legend. It wasn't as powerful as they now myth a lot. Like the time has expanded the power of the item, but she knows like the real history of what it actually was and knows to go get it. We already used Baldwin. What about you go for it first.
How about Darnick Stoneweaver?
I was gonna pitch like a title like King of Many Forges or something like that.
All right, the Forge King.
They can even say like it was like Tarthan the Forge King or something like that to give it a name, or the Tomb of the Forged King. That could be it.
Tomb of the Forge King. There we go. Yep.
Nailed it.
Okay, Tomb of the.
All right, listeners, that was
applause.
Yeah, like that was it. That was the gold standard of the entire thing. If you didn't enjoy that name, we are sorry. No, I'm teasing. Yeah, really though.
If you have better names, send them to us.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, listeners. Like before we hit record, Shay and I can rattle off ideas and we'll like talk about our campaigns and we'll riff off stuff real easy. You hit record and my brain's like,
True.
What is creativity? Like, it's like, it matters now.
Yes. All right. So, I think we've hit our 30-minute limit, but recap, we've actually made some decent progress in the little bit of time that we've had. So we know that we're moving north to
more like wooded
area.
It's we're leaving more this like farmland, think plains, and like just hitting more like it's beginning of forest. It's not heavy yet, and like some hills, some increased. And what I'm thinking of is this King of the Forges would have been like a hill dwarf in the before times, and like probably at one point in time before the fall there were cities here and all that stuff. And so that's what I have in mind.
How far away should this Stone King's tomb
It's got to be like a day trip, because
20 miles.
Like it's not far enough to justify them taking a rest between the Oktay and getting there, but not so close that it's like you perception checked it from the Oktay tribe. You know, it's got to be far enough that you can't just like look over and be like, yeah, she's right there.
Yeah, for sure.
So 20 miles, day trip it.
All right. So for the Stone King's tomb, we're going to be 20 miles north of where we found the Oktay tribe in Havencroft. And we're going to end up with the pickaxe of stone shape. And if everything goes well, Mama will be returned back to Silverforge. Balden will take the fall, and we will see what happens to Balden and the crew next time on Dungeon Master Talk. In the meantime,
don't do it too much. The copyright.
No, I'm kidding. So in the meantime, we have one game update because Kyle's group ran a week or two ago.
That did happen.
And mine's coming up. We'll have mine for the last regular season drop because mine will come the week after or week before that happens. So, Kyle, would you give us a quick rundown of what happened in your game, and then we'll jump into the topic that we were talking about prior to hitting the record
definitely.
button.
So, last time on my group's play session, the big battle commenced, so that we've been building towards. And this is something that was quite a challenge for me as a DM. I wanted to make it feel like a Topin epic battle. Like, I was trying to make my Twin Towers moment kind of here, and I'm hoping it's landing for the players, mostly getting good feedback. I think the combat rounds are taking a little bit long, but anyway, what's happening is our high elf druid that was in the other country got the bad guys to come through the portal and kind of circle up. She tricked them into performing the hokey pokey ritual, which, due to great dice rolls by her, bad dice rolls by me, the people of this country did not know what the hokey pokey was, and they thought they were going to be casting an incredible spell that'd bring their opponents to their knees. Well, in reality, she was distracting them so that her real allies could jump them, and the good guys could get an upper hand. It mostly worked. The head bad guys were onto her, though, because I finally had one good dice roll. And they pieced out right before the battle started because they had a magic item that's honestly super broken and allowed them to escape. But this orc war chieftain stayed because of his hunger for battle, and he kind of led the villain army. The good guys, our party, was split in two for this giant fight. A little over half of the party stayed in the city under the mountain and fought the battle either by leading battalions of the defending people or by engaging themselves in the battle. It was really cool. And 3 members of our party actually went further underground into the mines under the city, under the mountain, in search of the super magic stone that they are after, the reason that they're here in the first place. They encountered a earth elemental, as well as our season 1 big bad evil guy. Didn't go well for him. That's actually where Shay's character is, and he spent much of the session rolling death saving throws. Luckily, he rolled 3 successes.
He hit me good.
He's still alive. I'll get you next time. But still alive.
Curse you,
I'm actually glad Shay's still alive because I felt really bad. He spent 2 sessions away because my group's rules, if one person misses, we can still fire. And so he spent 2 sessions away, and first session back, got downed in like 2 rounds of combat. So did feel a little bit bad there. The one person I can roll good against is always Shay. And they were able to get the season 1 big bad evil guy down to 1 life, so he retreated, and the earth elemental has also seemingly retreated from that fight. And then above ground, the party managed to almost take out this orc war chieftain. They summoned a kind of legendary warrior in our campaign named Mandrick to the battlefield.
Mandrick the Great.
He gets his power from the sun, but the moon will do. And he has turned the tides of the battle in favor of the good guys. They got the teleporting blue gemstone off of the orc war chieftain. Turned out he wasn't an orc war chieftain. He was a blue Oni in disguise, and he has turned into a cloud to escape. And they are in pursuit of the kind of ruler of the invading nation as he flees from this mythological Mandrick. And that's where we ended the session. So hopefully next time they can wrap up the battle and finally, after like 4 months, fully reunite as a party and be in the same room again. I've been trying to get them together for so long.
And we're like, oh, hey, look over here. What's that? And Kyle's like, no, not again.
Like the guy, you guys that went under the city, you guys wait like 15 minutes of real life time and you're together and you guys were like, we're going now. And I'm like, you're going now? And they're like, yeah, we're going right now.
Yep. Which actually leads us into the thought that you had going into our next section. Kyle, what was the title?
So next episode, guys, when it drops, we're going to be going for that longer length time. So we're going to try to split that episode into two things. We're going to first have like an advice session like we used to. And then we're also going to work on the campaign. So we're going to try to do it like 50-50 or close to it. Obviously, if one topic's going really well and we're driving it, it might take a little bit more time. But the topic that we're going to cover next time is, what do you do as a DM when you've planned out an encounter that's meant to be for the entire party? And in my case here, was meant to be a hard difficulty for the entire party. Less than half of your party, or about half your party, in my case it was about a third of the party, takes on the encounter. So find out next time as Shay and I talk over your multiple different options, and I'll also tell you guys what I did in the moment, and we can talk about given the chance to do it over again, would I do it differently? And also share experiences that other times we've had when this happened to us and what we did those times and why.
Will Dagar have to roll more death saving throws? Find out next time.
We'll spoil it, yes. He saved this time. I will get him again. He's the one guy I can get.
Well, on that note, thank you, listeners, so much. Like we say it all the time, and we truly mean it. Thank you so much for being here with us. It makes the world that you guys would listen to us just to talk about D&D and putting together the world of Exarban in a D&D campaign. Again, if you have questions, you know where to find us, dungeonmastertalk@gmail.com. You can hit us up on X, #DungeonMasterTalk, or at DMT the podcast. And you can find us on the Dungeon Master Talk Facebook page. For all of us here at Dungeon Master Talk, I am Shay.
And I'm Kyle.
And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.